Hello, welcome to today's content tea party. It's Friday again, and it has been a pretty busy week for me. I hope it's been a good week for you as well. I can see that my streaming Ecamm software is telling me that, it's telling me that the internet is not so great today, so I hope we don't experience too many problems. As you probably noticed, it's pretty warm today. I'm feeling pretty warm. Also, I think the fact that I still insist on drinking hot teas when it's really warm outside doesn't really help. But I like to drink tea all the way through the summer as well. So that's something I'm going to pull up with. And definitely I do not like ACs. So I hope you've all had a good week, and we have a couple of things this week. We have a question from Claire, and we're also going to review Claire Vella's Facebook page. So we have two Claires today. And okay, so we're dealing mostly with wellness today. Actually, both Claires have a wellness background, but for the first one, actually, before I jump in, I would like just to make sure that you can hear me and see me well, because I'm in Ecamm, and as I've probably mentioned before, I can only see you when you actually say hello, so that I can see your messages. So do pop in and say hello to let me know that you're there. And let's get everything sorted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop over to my Facebook page, and I'm going to pop the question under this video so that you can actually see that. Okay, so that was my own voice. Okay, so I can see Claire is here. She's with us. Okay, we're going to start off with this question. It's actually on my mobile, so I have to I can't just copy and paste it as usual, because there we go, that was my mobile ringing. Okay, so the question is, I've been blogging without using keywords. Should I start using them? Okay, so this is sort of the summary of the question. What Claire actually did was she popped an email into my inbox, and she said, I have been blogging for some time and I haven't been using keywords. And, this is quite a common problem for people who have been blogging for some time. Sometimes they think, oh my goodness, I didn't know about SEO when I started blogging. And now it seems so overwhelming to go back and, sort of have a look at all my posts, find out my keywords, reorganize my content based on those keywords, and also, put the keywords in those articles, which, I wrote a while ago, and I'm not sure if they're even still relevant anymore. So I can really understand the question, and the fact that I think a lot of people ask this question because they wish that the answer was, you don't have to use SEO, you can manage without it, because it is so overwhelming for somebody who has been blogging for a long time to look back and see their content and then go back and reorganize it. So in spite of the fact that I wish I could tell you that, there is no work to do, I'm afraid there is a fair bit of work to do. When you have been blogging without keywords, you can actually do pretty well in the beginning. So, until you hit about 30 to 50 posts, you can do pretty well. And what you will see is that if you put them all in the same category, most people just put it in blog, or they just leave it sort of in the main folder of their site. You will see that in the beginning it starts working, especially if your topics are about the same subjects and they're logically connected, they're connected to what you do, and that it's stuff that your clients are looking for. So this can really work in the beginning. But what tends to happen is that when you reach a certain amount of posts and they're all in the same place, and they're all in the same bucket, as we tend to say, and what tends to happen is that you will see that either your statistics will start coming down or they will plateau. So you will hit a level where you can't go up anymore. And in order to then take your blog traffic to the next level, you're going to need to organize it, because what happens is that Google actually stops indexing your pages. It stops indexing your new pages because they're not logically organized, and it gets the impression that sort of you're just putting more of the same, because it doesn't understand clearly sort of what your new articles, why the new articles are valid enough to be listed. And the way search engines would start looking at your site at this stage, they say, you know, there is so much content on this site that we have listed already about these topics. Why should we keep adding more? And this is why it's good to do your keyword research and to understand your keywords, because when you put keywords onto your blog posts and they make it to the first page of Google, what's going to happen is that you're going to get new users to your website, and you know, you're going to keep getting new traffic, and these people are also going to look sort of at all the different content. But I think the most important use of keywords is probably the way you organize your content. You know, if you just use generic words like actually, I spoke to 2 people who were using it this week and last week. The keyword motivation, for instance, it can be used in so many different ways that it's very important for you to actually connect it to what you do. So, you know, when you're using keywords, it's important to know how to do your keyword research, or to also use perhaps a professional that can do it for you. So the short answer to sort of my long answer is yes, you definitely need to use keywords, and don't feel like you need to tackle it all at once. Don't feel like you need to take your website offline and redo everything, you know, with the keywords and changing all the structure and then put it back online. Don't feel like you have to do that. There are 2 ways you can do this. You can either create a plan and then slowly work back into your content. So say, you know, I'm going to allocate 3 hours a week. I have a plan. I know what to do. I'm going to go and optimize the old posts, and you go and do that step by step. Alternatively, if that's not what you want to do, if you'd really like to just switch from one to the other, you could copy your website to another hosting on a different domain, work on it there, and then when you're ready and happy to launch it, you can move it back. But obviously it's important that what you have currently stays live, because today you can't really have a business that doesn't have a website for 2, 3, 4 months. So it's important that we make sure that you stay live and your website keeps giving you leads, or at least keeps giving you what is giving you to date. Okay, so that was all the talk we had about keywords today. It's one of those topics I can talk about for hours, if not days and weeks. So I will try not to go into more depth about that. But the next thing we're going to be talking about is actually Claire's Facebook page. Now I know that Claire, this is Claire Vella, you're going to see her page, and she has asked me in my private Facebook group. I always mention it as my group. I should probably tell you what it's called. It's actually called More Leads and Google Traffic with Content and SEO. So if you would like to join my group, just go to More Leads, and you can pop it into the Facebook search, just More Leads and Google Traffic with Content and SEO. I think if you search Stephanie Fitani and click groups in the results, you'll probably find me as well. So that's another thing you could do. But the page I am going to show you today is not my group. It is Claire Vella's Facebook page. And of course, I have already checked it out before this live. So there are a couple of things that I'm going to comment about, which maybe you cannot see right now. Okay, so this is the page. Excuse the hundreds of tabs. I like to sort of do a bit of reading and prepare the following week on a Friday afternoon. So I do have quite a few things, the weekly tech updates and stuff that I want to read later. So I am keeping my 100 tabs for now. Okay, but let's have a look at Claire's Facebook page. Now, I know what Claire does, but of course, for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to look at this with fresh eyes. I have asked Claire what she does, specifically in a separate post in my group last week when we were describing something else. So I do know what she's offering right now. Okay, so the first thing I did actually, I checked out this page on mobile, and one of the things I noticed is something that is a problem which is pretty common, and I realized that this image doesn't actually show on mobile, so it doesn't actually show this part of the image. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Let's have a look. Okay, you can see my mouse, good. So over here where you have sort of the two L's of the wellness, from here to the end of the image, you can't really see that on mobile. And even sort of the last sort of 10% of the image on this side here, you can't see that either. So just when you're making Facebook covers, it's very difficult to get the right size, because of course it's going to resize on mobile and also on tablet. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that at least the content that is important is going to be in the middle. So what I would do is I would shift your image and the food towards the middle, and also the words towards the middle, and then I would leave just space or a color as a background sort of for the corners, so that it doesn't chop out. And you know, people who land on it on mobile, they can actually see it. Now another first thing that came to mind is wellness, mind, body and soul. Okay, that's perfectly fine. What it says to me is that you speak about wellness, about health, and you talk about mind, body and soul. What it doesn't tell me is what you do and who you do it for. And I think this is very important. It's important that in your Facebook page, people, as soon as they come, they actually know what you're selling, not just not just the kind of content that you're going to share. So, you know, if you are a coach, it's important to tell them that I'm a coach. I can see here that you say that you're a nutritionist, but I know that that is connected to some products as well. So I would definitely put a little bit of a qualifier here. What I could do is, if you actually pop over to my page, you will realize that I just have a descriptor. For instance, you might say, I am Claire and I work with, I don't know, with mums over 40 who want to control their weight or get back into shape, or, you know, and then you tell them how you do it. And I do this by giving them nutritional advice. I'm not sure if you also do maybe exercise consultancy. You tell them what kind of exercise they need to do. Maybe you also recommend the products that they need to buy to put together the diet. So I think it's important that you explain that in the cover. Okay, then we have the button. So the first thing that I notice here is the button. Now, when I clicked the book now button on mobile, it actually sent me to a PayPal page where it asked me to log in and pay 25 euros. The only problem I have with this is that I actually don't know what I'm paying for. So what I would do here is I would make this a learn more button over here, and I would take it to a page. I know that you're going to launch your new website soon, so maybe you could have a page over there that explains what this 25 euro is for. I would imagine it's for a consultancy session for nutritional advice or something similar. So what I would do is I would create a page that explains what you do, something a little bit like this. I'm going to show you the same example on my site. For instance, if you go to, for instance, blog coaching, it just explains how the package works, and then it says book your call over here. So I would imagine that the best thing to do in this case would be to Okay, that's the wrong page. Okay, and the best thing to do in this case would be to put learn more here and then have a landing page that just explains what you do and give them the reason why they should book, of course. Now, of course, if they've spent a little bit of time on your page, they should know that. There's also the send message button, which is very important. You know, actually, I would give the send message more importance, but I'm not sure if you can actually do that when you have both. So you may have to pick. Okay, so again, let's have a look at the services. Okay, so here you have your nutritionist consultation as a service, which is great. It's not giving me the chance to click or anything. It just shows the services. Okay, so here we go. See, so now I know what I am booking for. See, but before I didn't. This is quite interesting. Sort of, I can see that you have done all the right things, but it's the way Facebook is showing them that is kind of a little bit of a disconnect here. So what I would try to do, you could have a pinned post at the top that explains that people can book a consultation for 1 hour right here. However, usually in online business, so if you want people to work online, normally what we would do is we would give away either a 20-minute consultation or a 30-minute consultation for free, or maybe you can give people something for free, which is like a PDF, and then from there, you know, you invite them to actually buy the paid product. So you would kind of give people a little bit of an example of what it's like to work with you. If it is face-to-face, of course, this is not feasible, because to actually meet face-to-face with everyone that books a free 20-minute call is going to be a little bit too much. So in that case, you know, organizing small events and getting some people together, that is maybe for a free information event, is going to be a better sort of offline way to do it. Okay, so then you have the page where you explain your journey. Again, I had a problem viewing this image on mobile. It was definitely not the right size. I think they have actually changed it since you've uploaded it, because I can't actually see your face. I can see that your face would be in there somewhere. Okay, so this is going to kind of act like your About Me page. So what I would do here, I do like the fact that you explain your journey. What I would like to do is I would like you to sort of rewrite it a little bit more, and in it add information about what you do and who you do it with. So talk a little bit more about your clients, about what you're doing now, and sort of let them know why you feel that your story is relevant to theirs. So definitely sort of a little bit of a connection there. So otherwise, I believe that the content when it comes to your posts is actually pretty nice. So you're talking about, you know, your own lifestyle, which is something that you want your clients to aspire to. I can see that some of them, in fact, are very popular with your audience. Of course, nutritional information, which is great, and also exercise. So yeah, I think the articles are, you know, the information is definitely on point. That's what the word I'm looking for. So the information you're sharing is on point. I think you could perhaps brand them a little bit more for you. So I can see that this one has wellness, mind, body and soul, and you're using the hands, and this one too. So yes, keeping a little bit of consistency helps. Definitely. I would like to see more posts that are a little bit more like, you know, full recipes or blogs, because what I feel is that you're giving people sort of snippets, but you're not giving them a lot of the kind of information that maybe they would want to come back for. So let me give you an example. So if you had let's say you're building your new site, if you put a blog on your site, you could have a collection of recipes and publish a new recipe every Friday, for instance. And of course, you connect it to what you're doing. You can also add your products in it, and you can also add, information about your lifestyle in this recipe. But because people know that you're going to publish this article or this recipe once a week, they will come to your site or they will come to your Facebook page because they know that there is that regularity and they have liked your content before. So what tends to happen is, if we are consistent, so if we do the same thing on sorry about that. Okay, so if you keep doing the same thing consistently on the same day of the week, people see that they find it valuable. It is a piece of content that you do once a week. Of course, make it manageable for yourself, make it something that you do quite easily. But if you do it regularly, you'll find that people will start following more and you will start getting more traffic to your website. Again, it's very important that, once you've been in business for a year or two, you do have a website. Because in the beginning, you will get clients from the people around you within your orbit, especially on social media. You will get friends and friends of friends. But when that pool of friends and friends of friends and your network dries out, it's important that by the time that happens for your business, you have a website, because you need people to come to your site to understand who you are. You need to give them a reason to keep coming back. And that way you start building an audience. And of course, when you have a website, you can do two things. You can create a blog and therefore create content that people see you as an authority for. And you can also create a kind of relationship with people. You can, you can give them so much more value when you have a website. And of course, today, I think when we go to someone and we see that they don't have a website, we find it we're not quite sure if this is a business that we can trust. So to have a website is definitely going to really help you out. I know that your website is coming out soon, so I really hope to see it on your page as well. And I also wanted to just add in a couple of things, because I know that we spoke quite a lot about lead generation in the group recently. And one way to generate leads is to actually have, free content for your audience. So let's say you put together, I'm trying to, let's see if I can change this. Okay. So let's say you could put together, for instance, a 5-day menu plan, nutritional menu plan for your clients, and you can give this away as a freebie. So you would have a page on your website or on your email tool, and people would pop in their email address and their name, and they can download it. And then in this PDF, of course, you'd give them as much value as possible. And you could usually, on the back cover of this ebook or PDF, you can put some information about what they can actually buy from you. So, this 1-hour nutritional session, that might be quite a nice add-on to maybe a menu plan. You also explain to them why they need it. So, you need it if you're going to reach a particular goal. Maybe you have a weight loss goal for the next 3 months and you want me to help you make sure that you achieve that. So it's important that we do that as well. So, giving people a little bit of what we call a freebie or a downloadable PDF, and, having really valuable information on your blog is going to position you as the expert. And the two things together, where you're actually positioning yourself as an expert and giving away a sample of how you work and showing them, your knowledge and the value of what you actually help people do, then the two things together are going to encourage people to buy. It's definitely much better than reaching out to people blind on Facebook. And I know that a lot of people tend to do that. We have been discussing in my group as well. It is not something you're going to catch me doing very much. I would normally just, the only kind of outreach I do is usually inform clients or people I have already spoken to that a program that I had discussed with them is coming out. more or less, or something that I know interests people I actually know, to actually connect to people you don't know on Facebook and send them information about your products, can be something that some people do in the beginning to kickstart their business, but it's definitely not a long-term model. So it can be very uncomfortable for some. It's definitely not my style, but some people can do that effectively. It's just that as your business grows, it becomes also unsustainable because, of course, it is very, very time consuming. Okay, so I'm going to pop over now to the Facebook page, and I'm going to check out your questions. So if you have some questions, do make sure to put them in. Okay, I can see that Claire said that she already has a book. And yes, so you already have a book. Is it an ebook? Probably. Yes, and what you would do is you wouldn't give it away for free, though. Make sure that people give you their details. So you would use a tool, something like MailerLite. I can share a link with you. So I can show you which tool I actually use to deliver the PDFs. Let's see if I can find the link, because I have quite a lot of things happening right now on my screen. Here we are, I found it. Okay. So I'm going to pop that in the comments. So this is the tool I use. It's called MailerLite, to use for PDF delivery. Okay, and basically this tool, it will allow you to create a page and put in, and when people put in their email and their name, they will then get the PDF. It's important to take their email, because what you will do then in the long run, you obviously have to you can start sending newsletters and keep people interested in your product until they are ready to buy from it. I think with health and wellness, it's something where people, they tend to maybe get into it at certain times of year. They will jump on, they will do it, and then they will come back. So I think growing an email list is going to be really useful to you, because if you have people and clients on an email list, you can reach out to them and you can repeat the offers seasonally, because they're going to want to jump on and lose weight all over again. I know that's something that I think we all do in cycles. Excellent. So okay, so there are no additional questions, I believe, today. Okay, I'm just scrolling back up because I can see quite a few comments. Okay, section comments. Okay, very good. Excellent. Okay, so there are no particular questions. Good. And Claire is saying that she's also preparing a 3-month program. Yes, and I think the timing is a little bit different this year, but I think since we have all been in isolation, it has been very difficult for everybody to lose weight. It's been super easy to gain pounds more and more, at least for me it has. And now that we're beginning to see that the sun is nice and we're ready for the sea, and we're ready in principle for the sea, because we all have a few more pounds than we would like to. So the beach's going to look a little different this year. Excellent. So that's all I had for you today. There are no additional questions in the feed, so I think we can end today's content tea party here. If you have a question about anything related to blogging, website, content marketing, and online advertising, you can send a question to info@stephaniefitani.com, or you can just pop Stephanie Fitani in the Facebook search, find my page, and send me a message through the Facebook page. In the meantime, have a great weekend. And that's my phone ringing again. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and I will see you again, same time, same place, next week.